not seen any videotape of what occurred in the elevator. We assumed that there was a video. We asked for video, but we were never granted that opportunity.
So did anyone in the NFL see the second videotape before Monday?
No.
No one in the NFL?
No one in the NFL, to my knowledge, and I've been asked that same question, and the answer to that is no.
All right, folks, welcome aboard. Congresswoman Michele Bachmann will join us momentarily, member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. We'll talk about ISIS, Obama, and the whole thing. But the commissioner of the NFL was interviewed yesterday, as you know now, by now on CBS, Norah O'Donnell, and he said he didn't see the tape. They're raking this guy over the coals, and here's the deal. According to ABC News, the Attorney General's office of the state of New Jersey, where this beating occurred, this punch occurred in Atlantic City, New Jersey, told ABC News that the NFL could not get that tape. It would have been illegal for the police or the casino to give the NFL that tape of what happened inside the elevator. So leave the NFL alone already. I'm no apologist for the NFL, but enough. They can't cure domestic violence. They suspended the guy for a year. They did not see the tape in the first place. They did not want to see the tape. They couldn't get it. All right? So enough. We'll talk more about that. But first, Michele Bachmann ready to join us. I want us all to watch this first.
NBC News has learned that one of the ISIS fighters killed in the battle was an American. This man, 33-year-old Douglas MacArthur McCain. NBC has seen pictures, far too graphic to show, of McCain's body with his distinctive tattoo. His U.S. passport was in his pocket when he died. Born in Illinois, McCain moved with his family to Minnesota.
All right, folks, that's one prime example of an American who went bad and joined ISIS. And joining us now, as promised, is Congresswoman Michele Bachmann, member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Congresswoman, welcome. Great to have you today.
Steve, thanks. It's so great to be on Newsmax again, and I thank you for having me on today, especially on this extremely important topic.
Well, I couldn't think of anybody better to have to talk about this than you, and I want to talk about, before we get to the president and tonight and some remarks that Dick Cheney made about the president and the Muslim Brotherhood, what we just heard and the problem of Americans, Westerners in particular, Americans specifically, joining ISIS or other terrorist groups in Somalia or anywhere, and there's a bill that would strip citizenship of such Americans. And what are the chances that gets through very quickly?
Well, I asked Republican leadership to fast-track my bill that I introduced on Monday, and essentially what it says is this: we have seen American citizens join up with terrorists and engage in terrorist acts in the Middle East. Once an American citizen effectively renounces their citizenship by joining the Islamic State or ISIS, they at that point, in my opinion, should have their passport stripped, and they should begin the process of denaturalization, which means losing your American citizenship. They shouldn't be allowed to freely re-enter the United States. It's madness. Sitting on the Intelligence Committee for 2 years, we have been following the rise of ISIS, the Islamic State. This is not new to us. We have been following this. And again, if we knew about this in the Intelligence Committee, certainly the President of the United States had our information, and I would hope even more information than we had access to. And so therefore, earlier this summer, I went to the FBI and I asked them for a private meeting to ask them specifically, are there any Minnesotans who are involved in the Islamic State? Because Minnesota, unfortunately, has a long and storied nexus to terrorism.
Yeah, in Somalia, yeah.
That's right. The FBI told me, and it was classified at the time, now it is open source documents, that there were 2 Minnesotans that had joined up with the Islamic State. I asked the FBI, if they choose to return to Minnesota, will they be allowed to? The FBI responded, yes, they will. They're American citizens.
How is that even possible?
Well,
how?
My jaw dropped when they said that, and I said, well, you mean nothing happens? And they said, well, we put their name on a watch list, and they have additional screening. Well, what's that, I said, and they asked them questions. So you ask them additional questions, and then they're allowed to go unimpeded back to Minnesota to live? Yes, said the FBI. That cannot be. We need to, quote, get a brain in the United States and wake up. because the Islamic State has been very clear about their intention. That's why they call themselves the Islamic State. They see that the global caliphate literally goes around the world, including the United States. And the leader of the Islamic State is an individual named Baghdadi. And he said in January of this year to the United States, he said, soon we will be in direct confrontation. We are with you, and we are watching you. And we need to take him seriously, because our southern border, in my opinion, is unprotected and porous. And we are literally seeing over 1 million foreign nationals a year successfully coming into the United States. When I was down on the southern border this summer, the Border Patrol told me they had already interdicted people from 140 different countries coming across our border, including from Somalia, Iraq, Iran, Syria. So we need to take into account the fact that with an open, porous border and with the intent of the Islamic State to bring about terrorist activity in the United States, that at the least we shouldn't allow American citizens who have joined up committing barbaric acts in the name of terrorism to go back into the United States, where presumably with battlefield experience and a plan, they could bring about this havoc and terrorism in our American streets. That's wrong. The American people deserve to have the right to feel safe and secure and protected in our communities and in our homes.
Yeah, what scares me, Congresswoman, is that it's common sense, and that usually doesn't prevail. But let me ask you two quick questions here. One, will this be fast-tracked by Republican leadership? I don't see why it wouldn't be. And then, what's the feel on the other side of the aisle for this?
You know, I think there has been strong interest from the Democrats on this bill as well. Who could disagree?
Right.
Who could possibly disagree that an American who joins up with the Islamic State barbarians would have the right to return to the United States? So I think that this is something, I've even had Democrat senators talking to me about interest in this bill. I think this is something that could be fast-tracked. I've asked Kevin McCarthy, the House Majority Leader, to fast-track this. I've asked Steve Scalise to do as well. We've also put the word into the Speaker of the House, John Boehner, to fast-track this. This bill was a similar bill was introduced in the United States Senate by Senator Ted Cruz. And so he is also trying to work with their Democrat leadership to make this happen. I think we will hear from President Obama tonight, but it seems to me we need to send a strong signal to people in the United States who are a part of ISIS, who are thinking of becoming a part of ISIS, that they should think twice about joining, because there will be direct consequences, that they will not only be prevented from returning to the United States, they will also be stripped of their American citizenship. And of course, they have due process protections, but they would begin the process of losing their citizenship.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you, not to give away anything classified, which I know you won't, but in your capacity as a member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, do you believe that there are ISIS members already in this country, beside, Americans who might have gone there and come back, or maybe even including those who are a threat to the homeland here today?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do believe that there are those who are not only sympathetic, but who are members of the Islamic Jihad. One thing that Vice President Dick Cheney said to us yesterday morning here in Washington in a meeting with the House Republicans is that the Muslim Brotherhood, which is a violent terrorist organization, is the umbrella. It's the mother of all of these Islamic Jihad organizations. And I asked the Vice President in front of the group yesterday, does he believe that we should pass a bill that would designate the Muslim Brotherhood a foreign terrorist organization, as we have Hamas, which is one of the 70 franchises of the Muslim Brotherhood? He said, I would vote for that bill in a minute. I introduced that bill about a month and a half ago to designate the Muslim Brotherhood a foreign terrorist organization. I would love to see President Obama, who is the person who would do the designating, I would love to see him designate the Muslim Brotherhood, again, kind of the mother of Islamic Jihad, a terrorist organization, and also put in place the tools that our State Department needs to stop American citizens from entering the United States if they have joined up with Islamic Jihad.
Right, but
Those
Congresswoman,
are two direct actions the president could take.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Dick Cheney also said that Obama has actually done things that have supported the Muslim Brotherhood. And you know, when you try to legitimately raise concern about the background of Abedin, Muslim Brotherhood, and you know, when you try to legitimately raise concern about the background of Abedin, your own party turned against you. Is it a dead end?
Well, there's a high hill that we have to overcome because the Muslim Brotherhood has enjoyed a political presence in Washington, D.C., on Capitol Hill and in the White House.
Would you say, Congresswoman, it's infiltrated the White House and Capitol Hill?
Well, Vice President Cheney spoke to us yesterday and said that he also believes that there's influence here on Capitol Hill. I absolutely believe that there is influence here in Capitol Hill from the Muslim Brotherhood. That those are not unfounded assertions. That is based in the fact of individuals who have been found. Federal courts have already found that there are Muslim Brotherhood charities that are supporting terrorism.
Yep.
They have already found that Hamas is a foreign terrorist organization.
Absolutely, the Holy Land Foundation.
That's right.
Congresswoman,
That's right.
I'm up against the clock. I wish I could talk to you for an hour about this. Please come back and please keep up the fight and fight for that bill passage and expose the Muslim Brotherhood, because I think it's, as you well know, it's very important.
I will, and I want your listeners to know that the United States of America had the leader of ISIS, Baghdadi, in custody in detention, and the United States of America released him. And when he was released, he said to his jailer, "I'll see you in New York."
Yep, and they said they'd put a flag at the White House. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Congresswoman Michele Bachmann, folks. We're coming back with the Malzberg panel.